All right, now we'd like to work with LaTeX. So LaTeX is a fantastic typesetting method, and it's extremely popular, especially in academic circles. And there is a simple way of using LaTeX in your Publons. So we saw in the earlier example that we had script and CSS pairs. So in the case of LaTeX, instead of script, we just use the attribute name LaTeX. So you can see here LaTeX, and what's in the string this time is LaTeX code. So for instance, centering, that is a keyword in LaTeX to center the text. And then large, we want this text that would being the title, we want that in large. So you can see large there. So to use LaTeX keywords, you'll want to use the double slash as shown here. And of course, those of you more familiar with LaTeX will know that actually in kind of original LaTeX, it's not a double slash, it's a single slash. But the reason that in a Publon we need a double slash is that there's some escaping of characters going on. So where you would normally use a single slash in LaTeX, you have to use a double slash in this editor in particular. So we can see there's some LaTeX here for this part, and then for this part, there's another LaTeX. So we can use as many LaTeX CSS pairs as we like. So we can use cascaded style sheets to assist us with formatting the LaTeX. Colors and all kinds of things work there. Although we don't normally, make very colorful LaTeX documents, but you can apply whatever CSS you want. In this example, by the way, we are working with a list of Publons. So we're not going to bother with creating separate attribute names. So this set of plons is not an object, it's an array. So anyway, the title's there. So centering large, so changing the LaTeX font size, you can do that. You can make the font bold. So you can look up any LaTeX cheat sheet and see what's available. I'm just going to show a couple of the main ones. So there's the bold, and here, okay, nothing new here. The thing I really wanted to talk through was the equation side of things, right? So in LaTeX, to create an equation, you can use the dollar symbol. So if you want to create, let's do a new one here. So we want to create some LaTeX, and let's just test first that we have some LaTeX appearing here. So Control Alt R. So there's our test there. So if we want some inline equations, then we can use the dollar delimiter just inside of that text. So let's say we wanted to specify just the variable x here. So it is useful to, even though you could just write x in your text like that, and that would be fine. Right, so you could just do that, but of course in your text it's much better to denote that it is a variable by putting in the equation there as well. So we'll just surround that with the dollar signs again, and now you can see it's rendered as if that's an inline equation. And you can have fully developed inline equations in your text. So for example, if we write here y of x is some function of x. So we've used the surrounding dollar delimiters, and we expect there to be an equation. So again, Control Alt R. So you can see the equation does render inside of the text. And then quite often that's not what we want. We normally want the equation appearing as a separate, in a kind of separate space. So we do that simply as a double dollar. So double dollar and then double dollar to end. So to open it, double dollar, and then to close it, double dollar. And then we can write here, for instance, dy dx equals f of x, right? And then if we Control-Alt-R that, you can see now we have the equation there. And then there are many, many things we can do to better format this. Number one, instead of writing this as a kind of inline ratio, we want to use fractions instead. So we can use, in LaTeX, you can use the keyword frac, obviously for fraction, and we use the curly brackets for that. And so this is an example of, I guess, what you could call a binary keyword. So it takes two arguments, and the first argument in the curly brackets will be what goes into the numerator, and this is what goes into the denominator. So if we refresh this, Control-Alt-R, now you can see it's rendered better as an actual ratio there. You, of course, have complete Greek symbol support. So if we wanted, let's say alpha, so let's say this was supposed to be f of x and alpha. So to make the alpha symbol, / alpha, and so you can see, well, I guess this alpha looks a bit more like an A, but that is actually an alpha. If we put an A next to it, you can see they are different. Maybe a beta is a better one to see. So you can put in a beta there. So there's beta, and of course zeta. And yeah, basically all your Greek symbols. There's mu, nu, and mu, and omicron. And you can use the capital if you want the capital Greek letter. So omicron, like that. It's so you've got the full support for your symbols in this way, right? So that's those are some of the key things. You can, of course, also do you can do the integrals. So if you want an integral, then let's make a new equation for this. So we can say here int, so the integral of y with respect to x. I'm not sure that this is a binary one. Let's just see. So Control-Alt-R. Yeah, I guess so. So you see here, you've got these curly brackets is what you would use if you have a multi-character input. So you've got some keyword, like we saw with the fraction. So you've got some keyword, and then you need to specify the arguments. So you want to tell the LaTeX compiler how to render this equation, or how to use this particular function. So this frac function, you want to use that by specifying a numerator and a denominator. And you couldn't easily do that if you were to just say dy dx. It wouldn't know where what part is the numerator and what part is the denominator. So in LaTeX, these curly braces, that's what we use to denote separate parts. And in fact, something I should have done earlier is subscripts and superscripts. So for example, if you want to say y equals x squared, so if you say x squared like that without any curly braces, then it looks like this, right? So y equals x squared, as you expect. But let's say we wanted y equals x raised to the power 25, for example. So if we run that, then you see it hasn't rendered correctly. It hasn't assumed that the 2 and the 5 are one entity. So to specify that anything is an entity, you'll want to use the curly braces around those. So now if we have x raised to the 25, then you can see if we use the curly braces, then it renders that correctly. So like I say, there are many options in LaTeX and many ways to render the document exactly as we want. There are also typesetting aspects to it and so on. So I encourage you to look up your nearest cheat sheet and start working with LaTeX. And you'll see you can pretty much generate any equation that you want. Yeah, it's really fantastic, the number of options available in LaTeX. Just as a parting shot, maybe you also have available the set notation as well. So if you want to say X is an element of something, then you say X in, and then we can say something like that. Yeah, so here, let's see, I seem to have messed this one up. Okay, anyway, you can generate, yeah, so look up a cheat sheet and you can work with LaTeX and render equations as you like.